Trauma bonding in a narcissistic relationship. Now, there's a mouthful. I look forward to unpacking that for you. Hi, my name is Michelle Paradise, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it's your first time, where I provide evidence-based information coupled with my own personal experiences, when appropriate, to help you navigate the most challenging relationships in your life, especially the one with yourself. So let's get started. Trauma bonding in a narcissistic relationship. What is it? It's actually referred to as a psychological phenomenon where a person forms a strong emotional attachment to their abuser because the narc is the abuser and you are the victim. And I'm sorry to hear that. I am a narcissistic abuse survivor myself, which is how I can bring my training, my professional training coupled with my own personal experiences to my videos, so that I can help you to see what it's like from the inside out, because a lot of times we are not aware of any of this stuff that I'm talking about. So this is definitely, now this is not intentional, this is not conscious, which is why I do these videos, because they are mainly unconscious behaviors that you are running. So how do we get attached to our abuser? Well, there's cycles of abuse and intermittent kindness, which I talk about in my other videos. Breadcrumbing, future faking. There's many other videos for you to see. So what happens is we get into this cycle of being given something and having something taken away from us. And then we live for the next giving of something. So as I say, we meet somebody. So in my situation, I met a man who I married. Now, when I met this man, he was beyond what I had hoped I could find in a man, because for me, what I really needed is he was very attentive. He listened to me. And growing up, I didn't have that. I wasn't seen and heard and accepted for who I was in that moment. And here this man was seeing me and hearing me and accepting me, more than accepting me for who I was in that moment. And this can also be referred to as love bombing, which is the first part of narcissistic relationships, getting involved with a narcissist. That is the love bombing phase. And mine was very high love bombing, poetry, letters, various other things. And all of them played into my need to be seen and heard and acknowledged. However, that then turns a corner and it can go into the devaluation stage, which I'm not really going to go into at the moment, but I want to just say this. The person that you met, whether they're man or woman, that love bombing narc person that you met was not real and will never be seen again. And what we do is we live for that moment or moments or periods of time where that person comes back, and we make all kinds of excuses for them. They're stressed. They have a difficult job. They have family issues. Their mother was a narcissist. Their father was a narcissist, whatever. We make a lot of excuses for them because we are so trauma bonded to being seen and heard and acknowledged by that person in a way that we have never been seen, heard, and acknowledged before. So this can be a very intense first stage of love bombing. And there's a lot of manipulation and controlling behaviors exhibited by the narcissist, but we're not aware of them. We rarely see the red flags. So let me unpack what this looks like in the love bombing phase, what this trauma bond looks like. The narcissist showers you with affection, compliments, and attention. I know that very well, making them feel special. They make the victim, yourself, feel special and loved. So I'm going to give you an example, okay? So Jane meets Tom. Tom overwhelms her with grand gestures, constant messages of love and promises, maybe sending flowers, gifts, trips, promises of a perfect future together. And of course, this is what Jane has been waiting for all her life, this romanticized, maybe even like a Hallmark film relationship. And she buys into it. She falls hard, hook, line, and sinker. Then they move into the devaluation stage. The narc moves into the devaluation stage with the victim. There's a lot of criticism and manipulation and disappointment from the narc. This is when gaslighting can come into play, which I've done videos on, where the person is told that, You used to be like this, you used to look like that, you used to sound like, you used to believe that, but you don't believe that anymore. You don't do that anymore. And they begin to deny your reality, and you begin to question if you have lost touch with those things that they are talking about. And they, as I said, they will employ gaslighting. They may make you doubt your reality. So after a few months, let's say, Tom begins to criticize Jane's appearance, her job, and her friends. And he makes subtle comments and digs, maybe very passive aggressive, that make Jane feel inadequate and unworthy. And she really begins to question herself. She begins to question her appearance. She begins to question her friendship groups. There may be intermittent reinforcement, but he really has taken her into the devaluation stage where she is absolutely not sure of who she is, what she believes, what she wants. So what this looks like is the narc will devalue you and then come back towards the love bombing phase, but not will never really be in it again because that's past. But they will come back to it, as I said, like breadcrumbing, future faking, lots of promises about what life is going to look like because they want to keep you on the hook. They don't want to lose you because you're giving them things that they need. That is the only reason they are with you. And that's a hard truth to hear. And I'm going to use my trusted little post-it note here. So this is the narc, and this is the narc's supply wheel, and you are one of the spokes on the narc's supply wheel. You're probably giving service or safety or sex. All of these things is what the narc needs. And as long as they're getting it from you, they will stay with you. Now, they may bypass you and go have their needs met somewhere else because you're not giving them enough. And this frequently shows up in the need for sex. And sex can be absolutely transactional to a narcissist. They may give, and the sex can be amazing, off the charts, like you've never felt before, and then they will take away. And when they feel that they're losing you, they will breadcrumb you. They will come back and bring sex back into the relationship or some form of intimacy. But it is extremely unpredictable, and the victim is off balance, clinging to the hope that things will return to the good times, but they won't. As I said earlier, they won't because the person you met was not real. They were wearing a mask. They were delusional. And they created this belief with you that this is who they are, but they never were. They only did it to hook you in. So I'm going to give you an example. After a harsh argument, let's say, where Tom calls Jane names and blames her for his outburst, he then buys her flowers, or he buys her a massage, something that she really likes, some self-care. He apologizes profusely because narcs do apologize. It's just that their apologies are disingenuous. They're not real. They're only to get you to come back because the promises that they make in those apologies will never come to fruition. They will never, ever happen. But we then make excuses for them. And then what they will do is they will isolate you. They will cut off support. The narcissist frequently and often isolates the victim from friends and family. And they do this because they make you more dependent on them. And they also don't want anybody to figure out what they're doing. They don't want any eyes on what they're doing because they might be called out. And they don't want you to have any emotional support from anybody. So then Tom convinces Jane that her friends and family don't really care. They don't care about her. And they're really a bad influence. And there'll be gaslighting in there, and she will then begin to believe him that this is true, that they don't really care about me. And this will lead her to distancing herself from her friends and family, which is fantastic for the narcissist, because then he or she has them, has control of them. And then there is this bond. So what is happening is very simply, the narcissist gives the victim something that he or she needs, and the victim has something that they need from the narcissist. And that will be the victim will need to be seen and heard and valued in a way they've never been seen and heard and valued before. And the narcissist needs supply. And there it is, the perfect combination. And we stay trapped in that. We stay bonded to that narcissist for a very long time because we're not really aware of it, because our needs are so great and we really want to be loved by somebody. So the fear and the dependency, because there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of dependency, codependency on the narc from the victim, over time, the victim becomes emotionally, sometimes physically, and also financially dependent on the narcissist. They fear leaving the relationship due to threats of financial dependency. You'll be broke if you leave. You know, I'm in control of the money, because maybe they've been in control of the money through the whole relationship marriage. So the victim believes that they cannot cope without the narcissist. And I see this all the time with my clients. It's terrifying. How will I survive? So we'll go back to Jane and Tom. Jane feels trapped. Tom has convinced her that she cannot survive without him. He has also threatened to ruin her reputation if she leaves. And she has bought into this. She has believed him. She is now on this emotional roller coaster that is so difficult to exit. That she's on this hamster wheel, as I like to describe it, of just going round and round and round in circles. And she goes back between sort of light love bombing to devaluation. Now, the third part is discard, but the narc will not discard you as long as he or she is getting what they need from you. Okay? The only way you will be discarded in that scenario is if you leave. And that's really hard because the claws are in you. The narc has control of you. The narc believes that you can't live without him or her, and they've convinced you of that. So bringing this to myself, I was in a marriage where there was lots of betrayal and cheating, and ultimately ended in the birth of other children with other women. As I talked about in some of my other videos, I'm not going to go into that now, but I had 2 small children. I was financially not stable. I didn't believe I could do it on my own. In fact, when I was, when I learned about one of them, I had a toddler and was breastfeeding my other child. So I was really stuck. I was really trapped. And that went on for years. I just couldn't see any way out. And I convinced myself that this was better. You know that expression, the devil you know? Well, that's what I convinced myself, that would be better to stay with the devil that I knew instead of flinging myself out into the world with 2 small children. And I stayed. I stayed way too long. My children were in double digits by the time I left. I wish I had made a different decision to leave, because I would have had more of my life back. I really do believe that I completely understand how hard this is to leave, but I absolutely believe, and I'm testament to what getting out looks like. Okay, I have my life back. I actually have a better life. My children have a better life because they have a healthy mother, healthy emotionally, physically, and mentally. Okay, and that is worth more than a house, a lifestyle, a car, holidays, vacations, whatever. It is worth a lot more. So I implore you to really take a moment after watching this video and think about your trauma bond with your narc and how you can figure out an exit strategy. And I put a lot of videos up on my channel. Please hit the subscribe button, and we will drop some other videos, links in this that refer to this, like breadcrumbing and future faking, so that you can really see what is going on in your relationship. So all that remains for me to say is thank you very much for joining me today. Stay safe. Safety is the most important thing in any relationship. Keep well, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.